We've got one theme song.
So we don't have theme music, Tony. We just play Jazzloon because it's the perfect amount of time for us.
You can't give me like John Cena's intro music. You know, little Can't See Me. Yes. Yes.
I think we're gonna reach a point where Jazzloon is completely synonymous with us. That's the entire goal.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
F's in the chat for Jazzloon and Rhythmbot.
Welcome to the VGM for Vinyl for All podcast. The gossip hour is what we call it.
So much. Oh man. Hell. A long road. It's funny, I've been doing art for a long time. I always seem to like into these little niche things. And this has been the one community where I don't know, it's been, I want to say it's like a love fest. Everyone, I mean, because I been doing art all my life. I'm a big collector of stuff. And, toys, video games. And when the music stuff started, I was kind of at first like, reals? Like, people are going to buy this stuff? And I say that because I actually, the first thing I ever worked on was the Banjo-Kazooie album. I Am 8-Bit contacted me and was like, hey, we need the writing the back of this album to be a little like hand drawn. And I was like, well, yeah, I could do that. And I did it, and I was kind of like video game albums. And like, to me, I was just, what was this, like 6 years ago? I was kind of like, I was like, this is like a thing. And they're like, yeah, video game albums on vinyl. So, they actually gave, as part of my payment, they like gave me a set of those rare albums. I was like, oh, cool, and I kind of left it at that, So one day on Instagram, I don't know if someone posted something about this Metroid album. And I was like, what the hell is this about? I freaking love Metroid. And some unfortunate face. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I contacted him. I just messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I get this. He's like, oh, like, you need one? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to have one. So yeah, he sold me that, and he sold me some other ones. I forget what I got from him. Really nice guy. And I was just so blown away of just the really cheeky nature, the homages of his covers. And I just loved it. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And, always in the back of my mind when I see stuff, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to try. But I'm that kind of person where even as a kid, I would have to be kind of asked to do something. It wasn't like I was going to go on my own. I'm like, I'm going to make this record cover. Mm. So I came across the vinyl group on Facebook, just, sort of hanging out, and then people started doing trades. And then I'm not sure if I had made the trade or someone posted that they wanted to trade my banjo, because I wanted to get the Donkey Kong that Unfortunate Face made. And so this person was like, well, I'll trade you. And then, cool. And he was local. We actually went and met up. So we went and met up. Yeah. And so it was really funny. It was this total like this comedy of errors. Like I went to go meet him, and then my phone died. Then
Did he
I couldn't
kidnap
get a
you?
hold of him. And so I went into a hotel that was like on that block, and I'm like, "Hey, can I use your internet?" and so I'm logging on in the Facebook, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm actually here. I'm waiting here at the I forget it was like an IHOP or something." And yeah, so met up, and we had like a 2 hour lunch, just shooting the shit. And he kind of just told me, he's like, "Yeah, I have this friend that's I think you might need some art for release." Oh, really? And so, yeah, that was the first thing I did. I did a poster insert for that Persona 4
Oh
game.
yeah.
Oh, really cool.
So,
That's a fun little
so
insert for that.
actually, before that, I think I might have done was the Wind Waker, which was a lathe. It sounds horrible, but I didn't know anything about it. But to me, it's oh man, I love it
Yeah.
so much. I'm never, I yeah, I think maybe he made just a couple.
Is that the
Oh man,
Nirvana Nevermind?
yes, that's a Nirvana one,
Oh,
and I
okay.
and I remember when when he came to me and was like, well, I want to do a cover. I was like, yes, I have the perfect idea. And then I think he's like, oh yeah, go for it. And yeah, and I think even like when someone told me they reached out to that one guy that released the Notorious one.
Yeah.
They actually pitched my cover, but I guess he didn't want it. He was gonna have his own artwork or whatever. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool, that's cool.
That's fine, I
Uh,
guess.
yeah,
So,
and it's just like, and it's not like a lot of the stuff I see. It's not like I'm like, oh, that's like terrible, that's bad or anything. It's like everyone has their own taste, and it's like it's what they want to do. And honestly, I think bootlegs, it's one of those things. It really is a labor of love, and for that person like make it's a lot of time. It's really time consuming. I can imagine,
Mhm.
and and for me, what's really cool is just to be a part of it. If I can help make it,
Right.
it's cool to be a part of, and I always like when I'm actually making something that it actually becomes like a product.
Yeah.
It's just like a little art piece. It's real. It turns real.
And like
So
whenever
yeah.
someone approaches you and you're just like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool. That's a neat idea."
Hmm.
How do you like how do you kind of run with how do you start your process as far as whenever someone's like, "I want to do this game. Let's go."
So a lot of times, the secret society, they'll have their own. They might have their own idea.
Okay.
Sometimes it's great. Like I did a post about the Tona,
Yes.
and oh man, I mean, the moment I remember reading that come across my screen, I was like, oh my god, like dream come true. 'Cause I'm a huge crap. I mean,
Let's go
since I
away.
was like a
Yeah.
like a baby, I've been a huge fan of Kraftwerk. And when he
Okay.
said, "He's like, yeah, I wanted to do Autobahn cover," I'm like, dude, fuck yes. So, but then I was like, like I had this other idea. I'm like, I'm thinking Afterburner, Easy Top. And
Yeah.
then I remember, I was like, oh, well, maybe we'll use that for a test press. But then I think, I remember exactly when they had decided that they're like, oh, you know what? Even better, we're going to
We're
do
gonna
like
do
a dual
2.
release
Yeah.
and then
And it
make it
really worked
separate.
out. Yeah.
So, sometimes it's
Sometimes they
like,
have ideas and other times I
yeah,
guess you're on your own and you figure it out.
and it hurts sometimes because sometimes I'll see some labels release stuff where I'm just like, oh, if they would have just asked me, like, because it's not like I have all the time in the world to work on these. I
Yeah.
really have to carve out time from my life to work on these things, and sometimes I'm just like, man, even if I can just consult, be like, what about this? Or, it's like, for me, it's not, I don't even care about getting paid. It's like, it'd be really cool if
Yeah.
you did this. Go find some artists to do it. I don't care. Go find someone. I don't have the time, but just go find someone.
Let's
And
see some
but try to,
quality. Yeah.
yeah, and like maybe I could like sort of like nudge you in the right direction. And I
Yeah.
did that recently with someone. They contacted me and they're like, "Oh, I want to do this thing." Then I was like, if you try it, and I didn't even like spell it out. I just like shared some imagery, like what if it was like this? And they're like, "Oh shit!" And they went off and started doing it. And I'm like, "That's cool," like
Yeah.
it, for
And that's more
me.
of that community kind of aspect of just the love that
Yeah,
goes throughout everything. And it's like, I'm not here to take over or
yeah.
try to
I don't
oversee
want to be.
everything. I just want to help out. I just want to be a
And
part
for
of this and
me,
help out.
yeah, I want to be. I like being a part of it. Also for me, I'm a fan. I collect.
Yeah.
I like being surprised, like the next person when some album drops out of nowhere, and I'm like, whoa, that's really cool, and but I just feel so fortunate for a lot of the ones I've been hit up to make is stuff for me is like
Mhm.
straight up dream projects where I'm like, this would never happen like
Yeah.
in the real world. It would
A
just never
question,
happen.
Tony, that pertains to something like this, like especially for like young artists, like how do you decide what you want to like put your name on as terms of like what you do the cover? Let's say like commission wise, someone's offering you money. Like how do you decide this project is going to be like quality and I want to tie my name to it?
Again, I've been really lucky with the ones that I have worked with. I mean, if you guys have them, you know the quality,
Yeah.
and it, I've been very lucky, and it's it's one of those things where it's people throughout my life always say like, "Oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky to be able to work on this, and you're so lucky to work." That's like, no, it's
It
not.
takes
It's not
work.
luck.
It is
It's
a lot of
hard.
work.
It's hard work. Hard work begets luck. It opens doors and opportunities. And when I started making some of these covers, people talk and they start sharing like, well, maybe hit Tony up. And again, I'm always open ears. Like when people hit me up, I'm like, yeah, I'll see if I can make it work. Or again, I'll be like, hey man, I think you should try doing this. Try doing this, and maybe try doing it on your own. It's again for me as an artist, and making bootlegs, the actual bootleggers. I mean, it is again, it's a labor of love, and
Yeah,
I think
it can be a
sometimes it's
job.
yeah, it's a full-time job,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people don't understand uh, how much work goes
Right.
into some of these pieces. Where again, if I were to keep track of my hours on this, I would give up
You lose
because
your mind. I mean, some art
I mean,
projects just in general, it's just
oh
going
yeah,
back and like changing something, having to redo a ton of work, and
oh
it's just
yeah,
like,
and again, I'm very open and receptive. Like
yeah,
when I'm working with someone and they're like, "Oh man, you know what? Something's wrong with this. Can you change
right.
this?" I'm like, "Sure."
I'd rather
Yeah, like,
that any day than like when we finally get it. I'm just like, oh my god, really? We got to this
So
point
what
here?
happened?
Yeah.
right, right.
Out of
And a lot of
curiosity,
times,
oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, kind of in that vein, how often? I mean, I imagine you are quite in demand compared to the average artist in this community for projects. I'm kind of curious if like you frequently have to just sort of like just say no to a project that you don't have time to take on, and how frequently or like remorsefully you have to do that.
Yeah, I'm greedy.
That's good to hear.
I when and the thing is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the vibe I put out, but I think maybe people once they see the stuff I do, they kind of envision it for their project.
Yeah.
So, think some people were surprised with the Daytona because like so used to my other stuff.
Right. It was kind of a different-ish style as opposed to kind of what we've seen.
Right. So like, okay, I'll ask you guys a question. So like, when you think of my work, what do you think of? Like, what is it that comes to mind?
The Animal Crossing one is what I think of.
Rainy days,
Yeah.
rainy nights. Yeah.
Mario
To
Kart
me-
8 for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, for me, that's my safe space. Like drawing really cute, really appealing, cartoony stuff because that's my style. Not, I don't want to say style. That's like my safe space.
That's
like,
where you're comfortable drawing.
That's where I'm comfortable. Like, but through my career, I've been like a chameleon. When I went to art school, I had an instructor of illustration who one day he brought out these piles and piles of sheets of illustrations. And he spread them across the table. And each one was like, oh wow, that's really cool, and this one's really cool, and this one's really cool. It's like oh, are these like these are all different, these are different artists,
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, this is all my work.
Oh.
I was like, what? It's like, what? Like, yeah. I'm like, what? But
this is all you.
To me, again, I was young at the time, and I was like, what do you mean? I thought we're supposed to develop a style. He's like, no. He's like, for me, the fact that I can have a variety of styles opens me up to more art directors, more job opportunities, because they're like, oh, this guy can do it. He's
not just this. Yeah.
He's not just this. So it's helped me a lot. My career as well in animation, where I can from different show to different show, which you have to, and morph into that style. So, and it's.
Is there anything that sort of like challenged you, particularly in this scene, more than another album cover, for instance? Outside of like your realm of like your comfort.
Daytona was up there.
I could imagine.
Because for me, okay, when I take on a project, it's not just like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I get excited, then the reality sets in.
Right, I have to do this and figure this out. Yeah.
Now
how do I get there?
How do I get there? And so even in that post I made, I show a little bit of like, okay, at first I tried this, and then I even tried doing some 3D rendering. And then I actually did some paintings on paper, and like nothing was working. Nothing. Until I literally saw the little Hot Wheel on my son's shelf. And I was like, oh shit, that's
there
the
it
way.
is.
There it is. Like this, it will fit perfectly because that's what the style was. It was like a collage of not only painting but also photographs on that cover. I'm like, this is the way. And it didn't have to be perfect because it is a very janky looking cover. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but once you're in that headspace and you start looking at how that cover looks like, there's so much more.
Yeah.
And also on how you replicate the actual outcome of having like actual halftone color.
Yeah.
Like show up, and you can't even you probably don't notice it because you're not looking at it. Like I'm like eyeballing this stuff.
You're having to analyze everything.
Oh, I analyze everything tremendously.
Because when I first saw that, I was overwhelmed by the amount of like, oh, there was so much detail in this. This isn't like a Photoshop thing put on that. This is like they went in there and they really worked at recreating this style and making it look awesome for the game.
And again, my collaborator on that, the fact that they, see in me that I could do it, like to me means a lot. It's like, sometimes it's a struggle, and again, I can't tell you the amount of hours I spent on those covers. The ZZ Top one for sure, because that was like my baby. I'm like, this thing's got to look fucking awesome because I love that cover so much.
And you nailed that style with
it's
that
all
like
from
match.
scratch, right? It's just it's all done from scratch, something like that. It's like a recreation.
The car. So the thing about those covers, one of the few that I'm not selling on my store because I feel that I really am stepping on the original artist's toes. And so I feel like for me, I can't sell it because I'm really like repurposing a lot of the artwork and kind of like molding it into this new thing. But like for like the ZZ Top, the thing that is original is that car. So to me, that I'm like, that's mine. Like I made that. The rest of it, a lot of Photoshop trickery to clean it up. And even if you look at the back, like if you have the album, it's not like the album. I did a lot of stuff to change it up. And a lot of people, when they see the stuff, when they see the little Easter eggs, that's where I'm like, okay, they get it. and that's the part for me. I get a kick out of it because growing up, I didn't have a lot of albums, but the ones I did have, I cherished them so much. And every time I play them, I would just stare at the covers and be like, what's in this? Like
the covers say so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't.
What is your favorite cover, Tony, of non-video game vinyl?
Non-video game vinyl. I did an homage to it recently. It was the Queen News of the World.
Oh, the Mega Man X one, yeah.
Yeah.
That one has haunted me since I was a child, visiting my uncle's house, who was a huge Queen fan. And I remember going into his house, and I remember his setup, and he had that album, and it scared me to death.
Yeah, well, one of those things you see when you're a little kid that just burns into your psyche.
So
It's just like, this is a bad thing.
I just remember feeling so uncomfortable looking at that album. Like not bad or good, it's just like discomfort with that robot.
And so seeing that cover, and like it's this sad robot, and then he has these people in his hands and there's blood on his finger. I'm like, this is so weird. And the cooler thing is, again, when I'm doing research on these things, that was an homage. That was a cover to an old science fiction pulp magazine. So it's this cycle of people regurgitating art where they want to like cram it into something new. So I don't know if it was Queen, any guys in the band that were like, it'd be really cool. Let's do the cover to that old sci-fi magazine. So it's always stuff is always being reused.
It's always that cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this constant use of sampling, and that's why for me, like in hip hop, they would sample stuff. It's like you're just reusing stuff and you're making something new out of it. So like a lot of my favorite artists that do that, where they do a lot of a lot of pop culture stuff. It's already been made, but then they have their own spin on it. So that's why it took me a while to get over that whole thing of like, it is okay to like, to sample things and like kind of make it your own. I mean, even that spoof I did for Wind Waker, that's a Rice Krispies cover.
Oh yeah.
All right.
It's just,
and
like,
that's part of the charm too of the community.
Yeah.
Like since the music itself obviously isn't going to be a very wholly unique experience. Like as much as people sometimes might dislike like spoof covers or whatever you want to refer to them as, I think it gives it its own spirit. That's it just gives a taste of what the person made it was thinking, and I think that's charming in its own way.
I
familiarity.
I totally get it. I've seen some people, on the Discord, they're like, "Oh man, I hate those things," and it's like, it's cool. It's like it's not for you. For me, totally get a kick out of doing it.
Yeah, I will always love parody stuff. I know some of us have different opinions on that, but I don't know. It's always just fun.
Fan of parodies.
Yeah.
What? Who of you
I
doesn't
said I'm
like
not
it?
the biggest fan of parody
Pico.
albums. I'm always ranting about them.
Yeah.
But I do
really?
appreciate a good one.
What is it about it that you don't like?
I think Moonshake did it, and it was like their niche of like what made their label different. So when I see other labels doing the parody album, I feel like it's like an homage to Moonshake. But like you said with the robots, it's just kind of like, it's I've seen so many parody albums. I'd just like to start seeing some other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But like I do like the parodies of not other music albums. If that's
Right,
different.
like Mario Kart, for instance.
Yeah,
That,
Oh
or
yeah.
like that one's
I was
incredible, and
literally
like
about to bring up Embargo.
the key art for that
Really?
was just awesome.
Oh
You
man,
have to bring up what?
Yeah, that's super cool. And see, I love Disney, so I don't know if I would consider that like a music parody album, but I do
Yeah.
like that style way better.
But it's
But
that
I
it's
think,
sort of concept of sampling that
Yeah.
you're talking about. It captures that similar feeling.
I think once you're in that headspace, like I can't stop thinking about it now. Like when I'm asked to do something, that I'm sorry, the first thing I go to is I start researching, and I'm like, what can I spoof? What can I parody?
I'm the
What can I make
same
an homage
way.
to?
I'm the same way with any creative idea. I'm like, I know so much that I don't care to have in my brain to parody. So, and that's where I go immediately.
It's funny, when I started in art school, I remember one of my instructors was like, he had a very distinct style. And I remember asking him, like, what is it that you look at? Like, what is it? Like, what's in your headspace? And again, when you're younger, you're just trying to figure stuff out, and you're trying to absorb everything. And I remember he told me, he's like, oh, I don't look at anything. I was like, what? And he's like, no.
Insane answer.
No reference, no nothing.
No.
Jeez.
The thing is, for him, he's like, you get to a point in your career where you don't want to be influenced by other people's artwork, so you just stay in your own bubble. Like, you can go look at art, you can go look at it, but don't get out for your own work. So that to me was another important lesson, where it's like, sometimes I do get into a thing where I'm like, oh, I gotta try to mimic this exactly.
Right.
And it's just
Instead
like,
of making it your own.
Yes. So sometimes I will take stuff as a starting ground, as a starting point, and then go from there. And yeah, I tell myself sometimes, don't stick so close to it. Just try to like have fun. At the end of the day, that's the biggest thing. I just want to have fun. I don't want this to be a chore. It's like, I just want to have fun doing it.
And like after so long, some art projects can feel like that, and you're just like, I really don't want to do this, and you have to walk away from it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you've got a job already.
Right.
Yeah. Like Mario Kart, though, man. Oh my god! Like I wrote that big old spiel, several posts talking about it, but it was literally like a 20-year thing I wanted to do. Like I just so bad.
Yeah.
About like, I want to be able to make my work and then display it or put it on something, and not just make it and be like, oh, there it is.
I
thought it was such a cool idea. Yeah. I just kept holding on to it, and then finally, when my collaborator was like, I want to make this, I'm like, oh, I got the perfect idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like off to the races. It was just like, it was amazing to work on something like that. And again, the quality, again, the music comes first. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And just the freaking packaging, once you get it in your hands, it's like nothing else.
It really is. Especially in this hobby, the art is so important, because just bad art can make you just go, I don't want that record.
Well, that's where the uniqueness comes. That's where the uniqueness of a release comes. It's like I was saying before, it's not the music that we're making, so it's like, it has to be bundled in this way that really gives it soul. Otherwise, it's just copying.
It is what it is.
Talking about the Moonshake stuff, I almost have all of them. To me, again, it's one of those things that I'm just like a homer for. Like, once I latch onto something and to someone's work, they can do no wrong. And to me, Moonshake is that standard. Like, I'm just like, if I can at least get something to that level of like thought, I feel like I've done my job. And like to me, my most favorite is the Metroid. It is just astonishing. It is astonishing to me. That whole package. It's so wonderful. Everything. And I'm a huge Pumpkins fan. So it was just like, are you kidding me?
It was the perfect mashup for you, specifically.
I was like, are you kidding me? And then, oh, you flip it over, and then it's another homage. And it's like, I'm like, okay, just shoot me.
This is all I wanted.
Yeah, just shoot me. Okay, game over. You win. You win. Then, he does have some covers where like, the idea, the concept is there. Aesthetically, the execution maybe wasn't there. It's just like, but I still respect it. Because again, it's like, when I'm a fan of someone's work, they can do no wrong. And again, like, all of his releases, I love them. Like, love them. Like, I have my albums in this order: official releases, my bootlegs, then my moonshakes. My moonshakes are their own separate little thing.
The only label that gets it.
Yeah, it's the only label that gets it. Here's my little.
The inspiration is very clear. That Sean's work was huge.
Oh, totally. I'm telling you, like, I saw that again. I should go look through my Instagram. I don't know how I came across it. I was just smitten. I was like, this is freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
And
I think he's one of the only labels that do their own art. I think there's only very
that's a
few
good
of
point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do have their own styles. The ones I'm thinking of that do their own art definitely have their own like unique style to every cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if he himself did the art for it. I'm not sure. I
think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he paints them himself for sure.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, oh, love it. So
yeah, and not a lot of people like Mega Man 3 kind of gets sold a lot for kind of cheap nowadays, but I still keep it around because that art is like, that was really inspired when he decided to do the Yoshimi. Because
I'm telling you, once you're in that headspace, you start looking at things differently. You'll see things, you're like, oh, what? I could totally do that. And I'm telling you, once I did Mega Man X cover, I have like 4 more ideas using that same theme.
Oh wait, like, we got Frank in the chat. He said Metroid
Mega Man
done by a tattoo artist he knows. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
That makes sense, because I was curious about that too. Cause I was gonna say, to me, Sonic 3 is the one that goes like the craziest, that I just love. And I'm not a Michael Jackson fan at all, but I just love what he did with that. And I was curious if he did that one as well.
Like, that's the thing. A lot of the stuff, when you see his those covers, they just bring a smile to your face. Just like, yes. Maybe it's a little chuckle, like a little thing on your own. Like, when I saw that, I lost it. I was like, oh man. I was like, this is too good. Oh,
that thing was in stock for so long, and I kept flip-flopping on whether I wanted it.
Sonic?
Yeah, Sonic 3. And eventually that was like one of the earlier boots I got.
No,
it doesn't sound the best, that's for sure.
It has its issues, yeah.
I was just talking to someone about the Wind Waker album, and I had let mine go earlier this year. I think I let my copy go. Then all this stuff started happening, and I'll tell you the truth, the copy I had, from what I remember, I don't remember it sounding that bad.
It was one of the blue one?
No, mine was the gold one.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Drama. Time to
Yeah.
unearth some more drama here.
So,
Wait, Tony got
anyways,
his already?
Mine was from the first release.
Okay.
From a long time ago. I don't know how long ago now. In bootleg years, 6 months ago, it feels like 5.
Seriously,
But,
yeah.
I let it go, and then I actually just picked up. Someone was selling it the other day. I picked it up because I was talking to a friend. We're talking about bootlegs, and I was kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I let mine go, and then he was like, oh, I'm keeping mine. I'm like, really? I'm like, I bet someone else will make it. He's like, yeah, but you know what? This is becoming like a part of our history.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm buying it back.
I strongly feel that, especially after my day out with it.
Is it the room of video game vinyl?
What?
It might be.
Is it the room of video game? Is it the Tommy Wiseau of video game?
The film.
Yeah, like I don't have like I remember when I started collecting, I was very particular. I was very strict about like, okay, I'm just gonna get boots. Like, I really love the bootlegs. I feel like there's more more love put into these things than some of the official releases.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, and I've always been a guy that's been into boots. Even like toys when I was growing up, I always get the bootleg version because that's what we can afford.
I mean, Turtles in Time is Pico's playing it right now. It's a perfect example of boot versus official release.
Maybe not anymore.
This game is really hard one player. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a culture unique to bootlegs across like all
They're
media.
so interesting to find out about,
or whatever. It's entirely its own thing, and I certainly am more prone to wanting bootleg releases in this community than official.
Yeah, but I definitely have slowed down on when like 2 years ago. I guess it started around there, and then last year, forget about it. There's almost like 50 releases. It's like I can't afford that.
It sounds like it feels like there was a lot more than 50 last year, but that sounds like the real number. Yeah,
there was. I think me and my friends were going over it, and it was around 50. I was like, that is insane. Again, if people are willing to buy them. But my thing is I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that they're good releases.
Yeah.
Like you're buying stuff sight unseen, and you can have mishaps like Wind Waker.
Well, Wind Waker incident.
I bought that Animal Crossing that I know is just gonna sound like complete
I can't wait for that to come.
Oh, that'll be another
There's a new Animal Crossing.
It's like Wild World, some amateur decided to do. I talked to them for a little, and he's like, "I mastered it myself."
Oh, no.
I was like, "Oh boy!"
Here
I was
we
like,
go.
"You really should send it to someone for mastering for vinyl." And he's like, "No, it sounds perfect." I was like, "Man, this is the precursor for this fucking release."
What is your guys' thoughts on lathes?
Ooh.
I like Lathes enough, but there's a weird culture in this scene. But Pico, please feel free to go off, as chat says.
So like, oh shit. What I think about Lathes is, I think they're good for one-off projects. But honestly, at the beginning when people started doing lathes like in the scene, like 4 years ago, I only thought of them as like show-off lathes. They were like really annoying. People would make them and then they'd show them off like to the Facebook group, and everybody like, "Where'd you get that? Make me one, make me one." There was like no rules in the Facebook at the time, and it was the worst. So I have this stigma about lathes, and like I've heard one out of like maybe 30 of them that sounds like playable in my opinion. And I think a label basing their business model off lathes is a terrible idea. If you're selling like 25 or 30, 50 runs of lathes, you're a fucking asshole. But like a 5 project you do for yourself and friends, that's cool.
Like the cave story. What was it? Like 20 lathes max, and it was just like part of their own fan community.
That sounds right, but I don't know enough
If
about the cave story lathe to dispute that.
No,
If
it feels like a shorthand to make it feels like a cheat in ways, because you know, you have to charge so much for them, and I think that's they often deliver a little, you know, it's just the jacket and the record usually, and nothing else like booklets or anything. And
yeah, to make any money off it, of being like someone reselling it, it's like an outrageous price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd rather not see lathes for more than, like, you know, 5 or 10 runs typically, but you know, people do what they want to do, I guess, and they're afraid to get into actually pressing. But I think they're cool when they're like super small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a whole world that you know, sometimes I'm asked if I want to get, you know, this lathe or that one. I'm just like, no. Then I feel like I'm opening myself up to like going down the rabbit hole again. And it's like, oh, now I want to get all these lathes, and I'm just like,
how do you collect
their hobby?
You know, if they're self-made, how do you even collect them at that point?
Right. It gets into a weird spot, especially in this scene with kind of the sharing that goes on.
People that make cassettes. Then I recently got a reel-to-reel of Ridge Racer 4. I'm like, dear God, don't do this to me.
The reel-to-reels are the next level.
The reel-to-reel community is going crazy.
I've had a couple opportunities, and I'm just like, no, I cannot, absolutely cannot do that to myself.
I will tell you, holy crap, does this sound amazing? It sounds amazing. Like, I had an opportunity. Someone was going to send me a reel. Never did. And during that time, I was like, oh, I was so excited. I was going to get this reel-to-reel. And I went and got a reel-to-reel player. And then just recently, a friend of mine did that R4. Man, it's something. Like, it is a trip to play it. Like, I have it in my garage, and like I have like the little setup in there. And yeah, I'll just be cranking it. It just sounds so good. It's the only reel I'm playing. It's like anytime I'm doing work or drawing or doing stuff in the garage, I'm just, bam, Ridge Racer 4, baby.
Yeah.
And the reels are kind of how I feel about lathes. Like you can tell a good lathe by, you have to kind of discern the intent. And like I doubt the person making the reels is making a ton of money off of them. And so, if the intent is kind of just like their own personal project, or like they want to share with a few people, that I don't know, it's weird in that, like, should you let the product speak for itself, or should you let like what brought the product to fruition to speak for it in a way, you know?
Right. Again, this, I feel, it's one of those things, just labor of love. Yeah, I mean, it was sort of just like, oh, I'm just gonna make this. Again, they had to master it, they had to like do all this stuff. I'm just like, this is next level. Like, you can't mass produce these things, you know, and it takes a lot of craft to make these. Just on that level, just to get something like this off the ground is crazy to me. And for me, again, when I feel like I'm contributing, like I'm trying to get the football over the line. Like, I'm gonna help you get there. I hope that what I'm doing for this project will mean something to the people that buy it. And that, to me, is the most important part for like my part of this. It's like, again, I'm a fan, I'm a collector. When I'm making these, I'm not really making it for all you guys. I'm making it for me. I'm making it for me. I'm making this.
And I mean, that's a great way to think about it. Is like, it's something I want to be proud of and enjoy having.
Yes.
Probably healthier too.
When I make it, I'm super proud, and I'm not ashamed to put my name on it. I want my name on it. Because I have friends. You know, I have my friends in animation. They're like, "What are you doing, Tony?" Like, I'm like, dude, I don't
Actually,
care. Like, I don't care.
I kind of wanted to
You
ask
come after
something
me.
about that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was curious about like your coworkers or friends in your professional circle, like how aware they are of these projects that you're doing, and if
Oh, I
if they
share.
are aware, like how do they feel about them?
I
Are
share.
they like
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to do that too?
Oh yeah. I've had a couple of projects now where I've gotten my friends involved where I'm just like, you know
Oh,
what?
awesome.
You should have this person because that's more their thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Again, I'm greedy. I'm not
Yeah.
that greedy. If I, again, to me, I want the project. I want these things. I don't want to sound like a snob. I don't. I want these things to be the fucking best things ever. Bar none. I want these things to be the best things ever because when I make it, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it forever.
I feel
There's
like your Mario Kart really established that kind of feeling. Like this is
that feels
a
like the
piece
MO
of
to me.
art.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
again, it wasn't just me. It's my collaborator.
Right.
Just super on board. We're very in tune. On like when we're working, like we'll be up like, wee hours of the night.
Yeah.
And we'll just be pushing each other. Like, come on, man. Like, it's like work party. Like I'll be drawing. I'll be showing him snapshots. Like, what do you think of this? And like, what like really collaborative. Like. And just really open to like being honest about it and making some hard decisions, like being very honest. So again, I'm a professional. Like I have no ego like what my caliber of work is. I feel like I'm a good artist. I don't feel like I'm the best.
Do you ever get any like narcs in your community, like what like who are like you really shouldn't be doing this, it's copyright violation sort of stuff?
I had some friends.
Don't get legal coming down asking you questions.
They asked me, and like I've not had any trouble. I've only had trouble when I tried doing some T-shirts for the Mario Kart, where the printing place was like, we can't print that, and I'm like, why? Like everything else in your store is Nintendo. And they're like, oh, Google says you have to take the M off the hat. Oh, okay. It's like that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Just say stands for Mora.
Exactly. my name.
It's an artistic thing.
My name.
I actually read somewhere that the president only wanted Mario merch. They only would license anything out with Mario and no other franchise.
Oh, that's so weird.
Because they wanted Mario to be the face of Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that's why you never saw like other properties. And if you did, it was scarce. Like I have a few of those old Punch-Out figures. I mean, there wasn't a lot back in the day.
Pizza Hut ones? I have the Zelda Pizza Hut toys.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I have the King Hippo. I have the King Hippo. I have really like my favorite, not VGM related, but related is the side art and the advertising art for Donkey Kong. It was done by Leslie Carbaga. Is that his name? My absolute, that is to me my most favorite because it looks like Popeye artwork. And Miyamoto is heavily influenced by the Fleischer Studio artwork. And you'll see that in his own artwork. He draws very Fleischer-like. So I love that artwork. I totally forget why I'm talking about this, but there you go.
Real quick, let's bring in someone from our waiting room to ask a question in the last couple minutes of our show. Is there anyone in particular we should bring in? Let's do the old standby. Hey, Joey.
Hey, let's go. Hi, Tony.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. Just listen to this epic podcast. I love how active you are. I tell you what, because I have been wired. My eyes have been locked to my screen, and I'm honored to be here to ask you a question.
Go for it, man.
My question would be, you seem very upfront about how self-indulgent you are at doing your own work. I love I do the artwork for me, and then if hey, maybe someone else will like it too. I like the idea that you're just sharing something you want to do for yourself. What is either your favorite release that or your favorite piece you've done that's been turned into a piece of artwork for a bootleg release, or like what's so you said you had the Mario Kart on your table for so long. What's something else you've had on the table that I don't want you to straight up not ruin the surprise on something, but anything you can share. I would love to see a peek behind the curtain.
Oh yeah, I can't say shit about the stuff I'm working on.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize I just straight up asked. Oh, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say something you would like to.
I'm actually 3D modeling right now.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's a big answer for that question. I do appreciate that.
One of my Mario Kart 8. Just in terms of just complete package.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Dream Project, one of my favorite franchises. The music is, music. It's so good.
It's very good. It's a very good selection of music to do for a project like that.
And again, also my collaborator. He putting this together, and he's deciding on things and like how it's going to work, and really laboring over the tracks and how it works. And again, I can't give enough recognition to these guys that do this for us. To me,
yay, booters!
Oh yeah, man! Like, it's again, I don't know how they do it. I don't know all the intricacies and the technicalities.
Yeah.
It's again, it's a broken record. Labor of love. They want to see this out.
We all appreciate it. Yeah.
They want to see this out there. They want to see these things be made. They want to see these things be out in the world. If someone's not going to make it for them, they're going to make it.
Yeah.
I think even 8-Bit's gone on record that they're totally for. They're all about bootlegs. They're like for it because it only reinforces to these companies that don't make vinyl.
There's the market. Ass. Yeah, it's there.
It's a small amount of stuff being made. It proves to them that their whole stance that
people want this. Yeah, people want this music.
They want it bad.
There's such a huge demand.
That's a great way to think about that. People want it so bad they're willing to break the law.
Yeah. So for them, such a to me, they're at the top of making vinyl. Say something like that is enormous because it just goes into the whole, again, the love of making these things. They are things that are made. They don't have to be made. People could just be twiddling their thumbs and just, oh, wouldn't it be great if someone made this? These guys are making it.
Yeah.
And they're making
going
it
full
for
in.
us.
Yeah. And probably for them,
us.
just like you say, you're making it for you. They probably want to see it just as much as everyone else does. But they're the ones doing it.
So Tony, I know, like, we talked a lot about your homages, but like what goes in the process of doing some original? Like, I know you made a post about Sounds of Exploration and Discovery. But that was quite a while ago, and so I was just like, do you get direction from them, or do they come to you, or like do you how much different and satisfying is it like creating your own design, or like creating something with under the direction and discussion of a boot label?
Well, for explorations, I think I took about 3 months.
Whatever other originals is that? Wait, is that an homage I'm just missing?
It's not a direct homage. I was given some reference on kind of more of like a palette.
Yeah.
Not a style.
That is interesting.
Someone actually discovered it, and they're like, "Hey, this reminds me of that," and I was like, "Bang on!" They totally got it.
They gave you like a mood board or whatever.
Sorta, yeah.
Oh, that's what a great idea.
So, but that one was wholly original, from scratch, and that one, my collaborator was like, all the time you need, and for me, it's one of my favorite games ever. And it was super stressful because I wanted to make the greatest cover for that release ever. So, love the other covers that were made. For me, I'm just like, this is mine. Like this one is mine.
Yeah.
So it means so much, like, have my artwork on it. And again, the amount of nitpicking. Again, no one sees the stuff that we do. Like, he labored over that thing so much, and I have stacks of paper, all my sketches, all my paintings, all this stuff that I was just like, I was going on vacation at the time. I have my sketchbook with me. That's all I draw. I was just drawing the cover over and over again to get the composition, all these little things, so that I was like, this is the way it's gonna be, and just the mood of it too. It's just so much that goes into these. It's just like, instead of just finding art online and being like, okay, there you go. And again, it's not a slam on some guys that they make their boots and that's what they do.
Hell yeah, slam them. Tell them to stop taking sprites off the internet and just photoshopping manuals.
What a weird one.
But it's but yeah, Explorations is one of my favorites because it's again, it's not like a style that I would say is mine. It's something that I created. It's mine. Like I just listened to this podcast. One of my favorite artists, Brian Bolin, is a comic book cover artist.
Oh shit! Yeah, Brian Bolin. Oh yeah, there we go.
And my friends just interviewed him last week, and he spoke of art as magic. And I was like a deer in headlights because my entire life, that's how I've explained art to people.
Yeah.
It really is magic because it's something that was in my head, and I'm showing you what's in my head. So I don't know what magic is, but I know art.
And art's kind of magical.
That's great.
Art is magic,
I like that so much. I like that the branch of Tony Mora to Brian Bolin magic as artwork. I really do enjoy that. I work in a comic book store, so it's like I do get that a lot. There's some sometimes I'll open up a book and like just like a page turner, like you can't get that anywhere else. Like what the artwork can do is unparalleled.
I reached out to my friend who interviewed him, and I was like, dude, I'm so thankful that you interviewed him. I'm like, that part where you talked about art, and then, I bet you there's been thousands of other people that have said it. To hear that come out of Brian Bolin, I was like,
exactly. To hear it come out of someone who I've seen his stuff and I go, whoa, this fucks, and then to hear him talk about it's like, it's like Sienkiewicz is a really good interview on Comics Kayfabe. Dude, listen to those guys talk. Just gets me going.
I worked with I worked with Ed Piskor on a cartoon show that he worked on with me.
Oh shit, that's really cool. I want to know about that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it was called MWA. Yeah, it was the Mongol Wrestling Association. It was
That is
on
an interesting
Adult.
sounding one.
It was on Adult Swim. I think it would come on after midnight, and it was awful.
Wow. Metalocalypse
It was-
co-creator Tommy Blatcha produced. Wow.
So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Harry Dean
Real-
Stanton.
real quick,
What?
we
Oh yeah, Harry Dean Stanton. Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton was one of the main characters. Yeah.
we have hit the hour mark of the podcast, which is 10 when we typically wrap things up. So real quick, Joey, do you have any last words?
Overtime.
Overtime, but well, boy, overtime is something called the VGM post show hosted in
Too much. we got another. I need to bring in our main sponsor, man, who keeps us funded.
Who's this?
Can you help us with the sponsorship, trying to?
Hello. Hi
You're
everyone.
on. You're live.
Tonight's episode has been brought to you by the Land of Hate and Destroy, Trash City. Trash City has been shut down by the city inspector and needs your help. Please call 1-800-420-6969 and urge Mayor John Anderson to reopen Trash City. Thank you, and happy birthday, Alex G.
Happy birthday, Alex. Thank you, Trenta, for the sponsorship reminder.
Did you guys actually notice that stuff on the Daytona? Some of the literature on it.
No.
Oh, you mean the lyric sheet?
There's stuff on it. You have to look at it.
I don't have it on my person right now. I'm
Okay.
8 hours away from home right now.
That's the thing.
You're far away from your Daytona.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was telling.
I went away.
Like I don't know. I was telling my friend, like I don't know if people really look at their albums because I put stuff in almost all of them, and I never see anyone talk about like, hey, is this
like satanic
like,
sayings and stuff?
I'm not saying anything, man.
Kill your parents while they sleep.
I'm over here looking at
That's
Daytona
what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Daytona, and I feel like I want to kill
I do
my
want to
parents.
say I'm pretty confident the rear view mirror is gonna be something that makes me laugh until I'm like 80 years old. Every time I look at that, I'm just like, that's so fucking good. It's the most perfect touch to that cover.
Someone just asked about it's like, oh, why is there the horse?
I don't know what it means. I don't.
And I'm just
I'll
like,
admit it.
Man. Like, oh man, you're not one of the real ones.
Hey, I'll say it. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I love it.
So in the
You
Saturn
can unlock a
release,
horse, yeah.
You unlock a horse.
Oh.
I had no clue.
You actually drive a horse in Daytona.
Oh shit.
So
And doesn't it make like screeching sounds when it turns?
Yeah. It's great. It's super awesome. Love it.
The horse is making sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. And then even on the ZZ Top cover, my name is on one of the stickers. So it's like
I'm pulling this out.
Yeah, you might have to pull out the magnifying glass, but a lot of the covers I do insert my name, and I try to be very discreet about it. But most of them do have my name, unless I try to make the cover really.
Oh, there it
clean
is! It's the second sticker on the side. I see it now.
So I had maybe about 2 or 3 people reach out to me out of the blue, and were like, "Hey, do you know anything about this Daytona?"
And it was right there. Wow.
Yeah, and I just feigned total stupidity. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah,
Who,
my
me?
name was on.
Couldn't have that one.
My name was on the cover this entire time.
That's so good.
This wheelbarrow level, man, with no sound is so hard.
You can have sound. I have you muted. For me, you're good.
Yeah, but I don't want it coming through on my mic.
Oh, okay.
But it's way harder than I thought it was.
Tony
I can't even hear the bad guys coming.
Tony said over show, so let's pull in one more person for just a little bit more. Can someone pick someone out to bring in here? Kimberly.
Okay.
You're
Kimberly
there.
Oh, they're muted.
And I can't fix
We
it.
might have to pick someone else. Oh, never
There
mind.
she
Wait.
is.
If I share my screen, will it take over the entire screen or just my little screen?
I
Just
think you
your little
pick
screen, I
which
think.
screen. All right. I guess Kimberly's mic is not working.
The show?
Ufu, do you have a microphone just yet?
Oh. Am I allowed to show this video?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what we're seeing right now.
So that looked like one of the enemies that
That did. That looks like
Pico was fighting.
the Turtlesaurus. The Turtlesaurus from Turtles in Time.
I'm making a Gamera figure for my friend right now.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
bring in Jake.
Yeah, I've been
Gamera is
making,
a like a Godzilla canon creature, right?
yeah, my littlest is a huge Godzilla fan, and
Oh.
I got a 3D printer for Christmas this past year, and so I model now, and he's out.
How long have you been doing the 3D modeling? You're just using Blender?
Yeah, I'm using Blender. I took a class in it about, it's going to be 2 years ago that I took my first class.
Okay.
I actually went to school originally to learn 3D. But then when I took my first 3D class, I hated it. Because it was just really, really technical to model. But now, man, dude, Blender, it's free. And it is so easy to model.
It's got to be a reason it's such a big program.
We got next week's sponsor already lined up.
Oh,
Blender?
awesome.
Blender, yeah.
But
Sounds like a dating app for cannibals.
I tell anyone now that if they're interested in art, like, dip your toes in this program because it's the future. It's unbelievable what you can do in this thing.
It is it is very intimidating when you're starting out, like looking at Blender. Like I could imagine needing to take a course on it just to keep my head above water.
I downloaded it one time, tried to make Kirby. I made like 5 ovals, and I gave up. And I tried to like throw the texture on, and the texture was like on his face was on his hand, and I was like, all right, this is as far as I go.
I'm done.
Uninstall. Yeah, couldn't do it.
See, this one, me and my son, my littlest designed. It's called Mecha Zandora.
Oh, that's great.
That's cool.
You got drills for arms.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. He actually had 2 heads to begin with, but it just wasn't really working in there. He has 2 tails though.
I like that he's got mechanical wings too.
Yeah.
Looks like a Lego, kind of.
Yeah. So it's all pieces when I print it out in pieces and then I glue it together in real life.
That rocks.
So you mentioned earlier that part of the reason why you like doing art for video game vinyl, you love seeing your stuff become a physical product.
Yes.
But
exactly.
do you feel that way about like your animation, like even though like that's on a televised product or something,
No, it's I have memories as a child. I have really strong connections with animation. But when video games came around, that was a game changer for me because cartoons, I've seen the same cartoons so many times in my life that I know them inside and out. I could tell you where I was. Video games, I could tell you what I was wearing, where I was, how old, like it's because interacting. It's an interactive experience. It's not the same. And like even now when I make stuff for animation, there's a disconnect. It's like, okay, I'm done with that. I made it.
Right.
It's done. Or I saw it and I'm done.
Yeah.
But with video games, it's a whole other thing of like, oh man, like I just remember like all these times when like getting that first video game or that sleepover with my friends where we just played video games all night long to beat Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, and we actually beat it. And then it said, it gave you that notice, like you got to beat it again. All of us at once screamed, "No!"
It's like yell.
I remember completely ignoring my family's like New Year's Eve party because I was just playing Donkey Kong Country the entire night.
I distinctly remember it was like 6 of us at my friend's house, at my friend Patrick's house. We played the entire night. I was actually at the controls when I beat the last guy. And then that came up, and then everyone screamed, and then everyone just, with their heads down, walking out of the house, getting on their bikes and riding home silently.
Yeah.
Just pain.
That game's so hard. So just.
It was so, like, when I look back now, it's hilarious, but this sense of failure.
Yeah.
We literally spent the entire night from like 8 o'clock to about 6 in the morning, nonstop playing that game to beat it.
There's your prize.
At least Ghosts and Goblins, like I don't remember, was that ever a coin-op game? I don't recall it ever being.
Ghosts and Goblins was arcade.
Oh,
they ported it
okay.
to NES.
I was gonna say, well, at least they were kind enough to port it to the NES, like long before a lot of other, just like games that steal all your quarters do.
Long before you run out of quarters.
Yeah,
I don't know how people beat arcade games when they were younger.
That's a boot someone should be making is doing those Ghosts and Goblin soundtracks. I love that
stuff. Like, I'm thinking now. I thought maybe there was one, but yeah, you saying that there isn't, huh? I mean, Capcom.
I could see Mondo doing it.
Yeah.
Even the Maximo games. I don't know if you guys ever played those. Dude, those games are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The PS2. Those are basically Ghosts and Goblins games.
Oh.
3D. They're tough as shit. Oh my god. I beat both of them like with full, like, because you have to get like these jewels to get like the real ending. You have to get like 3 of them per level, and I like a masochist, I did it. My best stories.
So real quick, we pulled in Jake, one of the viewers. Did you have a question for Tony?
I do. Tony,
this Jake Smith?
Yes,
it is.
Oh snap! Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, nice to meet you. Love your work. It's incredible to have it in my hands, to feel it. It's some solid stuff. So my question is, would you rather have the ability to read minds or to read? As in, either you can read minds and you're illiterate, or you can read.
What is this question?
Can you guys just hang up on him now?
Yeah, we can. Jake, you're gone. And let's get Kimberly back here.
If I had the ability to read minds or read, question?
That was his question.
I think it depends on how far away you could read minds. Because like I wouldn't be able to talk with any of you all. But if I could psychically focus in on Alex Trevor and read your mind, well, I probably wouldn't know. No, I like reading.
If I could avoid reading the Discord every day, I would definitely take that superpower. Just not read the things you guys say.
You guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
It'd be like a bit nightmarish, I think, to read people's minds.
Yeah.
That's also the other thing is like, can you opt out of reading minds if you have that ability? Like you can't just ignore it. It's just like you're hearing a constant stream of thoughts.
I remember in high school,
I don't even know if I want to read my own mind, let alone other people's.
Get me out of here.
I remember in high school, we had to write a story. We had to make up our own superhero character. So I made this one character, superpower was that he could travel at the speed of sight.
Oh, nice.
Wherever he looked at, he traveled there. He was a giant eyeball.
Interesting.
I've yet to sell that character.
One day. So we got rid of Jake. What an embarrassment! What a fucking embarrassment!
Hey Jake.
And we got
he got to shoot a shot, right?
right, and that's what he did.
Yeah. He let you promote your character, your
But
character.
he set a real low bar for you too, Kimberly. So whatever your ask is going to be golden.
Yeah, just let it rip.
Okay, so I guess I'm considered an artist. I don't know. Fuck. What is kind of some art that you would like to see in like the boot scene? I guess. Like I've always wanted to see woodblock because that's what I went to school for. And then embroidery because I do that. Just kind of like weird shit. What's some stuff that you think would be nice to see?
Ooh, what would a good woodblock game be for like an album art?
Waker.
Yeah.
God. Too much goddamn Wind Waker.
The papercraft Kirby release, I thought was so cool, and I'm not good at art, so anything that takes any amount of talent, I'm just like, wow. But I really thought that release was fucking awesome.
I don't discriminate against any art. I think that release that just came out, X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, like
so unique.
It's different, and again, I hear people complain about other stuff where like, oh, it's too samey, stuff like that, and it's like, I get it, and I'm sort of the same way, and I think that's why I try to change it up with my own stuff. I don't like to just pick the same stuff all the time, but sometimes I just like making that certain theme. I'll just keep riffing on it. You'll be seeing a lot more Disney stuff.
I gotta say, like, I don't know. Forgive me, I'm an ignorant person when it comes to a lot of art, but like, I really liked the Super Mario 64 test press, the one with like the foil, and like I liked the style of the art. The buff macho Mario wasn't quite my speed, but just like I love that style of jacket they printed on. I'd love to see more of that.
I've never seen
that was
it.
done like was that the one that was like
that wasn't the Ray Gunt one. It was not the Ray Gunt
Lost
one.
Mario. I I don't think I've seen it either.
Can you bring it up?
Was
Can
it
you
the one
share
with
it?
like
Are
the ghosts?
you talking about the Bomberman, like the Bomberman 64 buff jacket?
No.
That's
different
stolen
buff.
art. Everybody knows that.
Different buff artist, different buff video game character.
I think I know what you're. It's like a ghost kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's oh man, it's so hard to describe.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like chrome, like silver and black, two-tone, and it's got like Mario with like a Gatling gun or something on it. He looks like a very buff action star, and it's like fighting a Boo or something.
Okay.
I have seen that.
Big Boo's haunt or whatever.
Yeah.
The Boo level in
Yeah, I don't know
64.
exactly what that art style is called, but I'd love to see more of that because the actual art itself wasn't to my speed, but the style in which it was done, I'd be really excited to see more.
It's done in pointillism.
You say pointillism?
Yeah, it's all like the little dots.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
I would like
pretty
to see
sure.
some art that's like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroes kind of like woodblock style, because they have a lot of video game styled woodblocks that are really interesting. That I think would be great.
I mean,
I follow
the
them.
people
Awesome.
who are doing those like Gleesy prints, or however you say that phrase, like a long time ago. Glitchy, is that what it is? I remember I started following them when they started.
Zekle.
Zekle? Is that actually it? Or you guys?
No, I think it's actually
We can all sound
pronounced
dumb.
Ziclay. It's French, so
Someone get
It's
Caleb.
so that
not a
G
style.
is
It's just the type of print that you make.
Right. Exactly.
that's
But that was like their
not a
like that
style.
main thing they were doing their their prints in, and that's kind of like where I was turned on to that like printing style.
Right.
Yeah, they do a bunch of cool stuff.
Mhm.
I think it would be
Yeah,
neat to
no,
see like an
I'm-
all cover. Not like
I think so
it's
too.
all
Here I
embroidered,
be.
but like I know, but like printed, I guess, in a way that it would
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
pronounce it.
open to I'm open to always, again,
Yeah,
I'm a collector. and
right.
yeah, I like to see new stuff. So to me, yeah, man, it's embroidery, sure. Paper cutouts, sure. 3D stuff, sure. I mean, everything is valid. I mean, as long I think it just comes down to, I think we're so far now in this whole like the bootleg scene where you have a barometer now of what is quality.
Yeah,
What like can like if you put something out there, and again, I'm not putting it on the booter to be like, well, you have to make it this good. It's like, you know what, make it special.
hmm
You know, like it could be simple. It doesn't have to be this grandiose type thing, gatefold, tipped in cover, embossed, varnished.
Yeah.
No, but put some thought into it, put some love into it, and it'll show.
Yeah, something that was
that-
obviously they're proud to make.
Yeah, it's like just don't like, as one of my professors said, don't half-ass it, full-ass it.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Go-
so accurate with art, and like you can just see so much half-assing sometimes.
Yeah, just go all out. Take it, and that's one of the things. Also, I like having collaborators on some of this stuff. I take stuff really extreme,
hmm
and I need that person to rein me back. Because
Yeah.
there's stuff where it's like, Tony, no.
Yeah, it's like okay, that's
just-
fine,
that's-
but I needed that. Yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's always you want to be able to try out any idea, and sometimes those ideas can go in crazy directions, but you have to try it because you won't know unless you try it. Sometimes when I do these covers, it's not like that cover that you see, that wasn't just the first one, that was like one of many.
yeah,
Sometimes I will take stuff all the way done because I have to see it done and be like, you know what? That doesn't
this
work.
isn't it.
Start
Yeah,
over again. Start over.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people, young artists, get afraid. But we live in a world now where it's like you work on a computer, and it's a lot easier than back in the day with paints and not having Control Z.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not having
man.
layers.
Oh God, yeah. When I started in Photoshop, there weren't layers, and I remember it was version 2 when they brought in layers,
Gosh.
and it was like it was a revelation.
Yeah, I remember like going from clip art makers and like Paint to an illegal copy of like Photoshop 7, and just like it opened the entire world to me, like messing with Photoshop and Image Ready, making animations that aren't
Right.
like
Yeah.
from the crappy freeware programs.
And they made it
Was,
so easy.
Yeah.
I was completely. I taught myself how to use Photoshop way back when because I was just like so intrigued about it, and I was always just very intrigued about the technology, and it was just funny. Even before I got into art, my very first art job, was colorizing old movies. It's a totally random wanted ad in the LA Times. They were just like, computer artists needed. And I went to this building near LAX, and it was like the Matrix. It was this entire floor of SGI computers. And they had floating, I kid you not, that they had floating chairs that were levitating from the ceiling.
What?
And the chairs were like race car bucket seats.
Wow.
They had the people that were colorizing, you know, they were working. They had 2 shifts of people working during the day at night. And I colorized my very first job ever was colorizing the dance sequence from Yankee Doodle Dandy.
That's
Wow.
cool.
I had never worked on a computer. I'd never touched an art program on the computer. And they basically gave me a test, a verbal test, where they showed me a picture and they said, "What's the foreground in this picture?" I was like, "Well, I guess this thing in the front." Like, they're like, "Yes."
All right, you're hired.
We're like, what's the background of this picture? I mean, it was like a picture of this teacher at the desk. I'm like, I don't know the chalkboard. Like, correct. What would you say is the middle ground? Like, the teacher's like, spot on. And then they
When can you start?
Yes, no, I started that moment.
Wow.
They took me over to this computer, and they just showed me how to. Again, I'd never used a computer before, so I'm like just literally like mouse in my hand, and like showing me like, you know, how to trace the body of James Cagney as he was dancing through the sequence. I had to trace around him to drop color in him. And that's what I did for about 3 weekends. I did that. Then at the end, it was like a 3-week trial, and I guess I just wasn't fast enough. They just didn't tell me.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, they're like, okay, well, you know.
I mean, how long was that sequence? And like, what was it? Probably like 30 frames or 24 frames a second or something?
Yeah,
So, like,
I forget. Movies is 30?
Oh, is it? Okay.
24. Yeah, I forget. But yeah, it was, that's crazy. That was my very first computer job ever. It was colorizing the dance sequence from Yankee Doodle Dandy. So
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone can hate on me for that.
That's some interesting stuff. Well, we are now a half hour.
Yeah, we're at
thing,
about the
so
90-minute mark. So,
is there anything you'd like to close on, Tony, while we're still here?
And I just wanted to thank everyone supporting me and following me, and yeah, man, I'm always open. You know, I've had some people where they find it hard or something, or they're afraid to like reach out to me and ask me questions, and I'm always open, and especially when it's related to art, because you know, I have quite a history working in the industry from like every facet in the industry, and I've tried to mentor some people and just try to show them, like, you know, new ways, because it's so different now. I mean, you could literally learn everything online, and you don't have to go to art school.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, it was different. Going to art school was a dream. I never thought I would be good enough to go to art center, and I did. I accomplished that. I feel good about it. But now, I tell people, stay away. I'm like, save your money, and learn on your own time, and you know, I think you'll get more satisfaction out of it. So,
yeah, because as much as credentials, as like education credentials will get you, like a well-rounded portfolio is going to get you even further.
Yes. And there's plenty of guys that I know that never went to art school. They were like mechanics. At night, they would spend their time working on their portfolio. You know, really good friend of mine, he was in high school when he started working at my studio. He was like 16, and just like a phenom. And you know, he knew what he wanted to do. Some people are like that. You know, some people know what they want to do.
So I guess I gotta wonder how far my portfolio of Tony Mora photoshopped images will get me. I got your approval on a few of them. I know that.
Same here.
The what?
Tony shop or Tony Mora photoshops. Like I've done the Akira Tony Oxford skater thing with Breath of the Wild. And like whenever I do stuff like that and I see that Tony Mora approves, it's always a highlight.
Same. Like when I did the Animal Crossing over my body one. That was fun.
I get a kick out of seeing people have fun with my art because that's how I feel when I'm making it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun. It's like I want it to be fun. So yeah, when I see people doing that, I get a kick out of it, and that's why I get I've been like spoofing my own stuff because I'm like, well, someone's gonna do it. Might as well be me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been so much fun hearing all of this.
We could continue listening to you, so feel free to come back anytime.
Yes.
So I guess we got one last question for you. What is your favorite tamale?
Oh my god! Any tamale that Kathy gets me.
Fair enough.
Good night, everybody.